These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir.
You can have it for saving my life. You think he's a keeper?
Well, my go.
All right, John, it's the last one. It's the last E3 2019 conference podcast recap extravaganza.
Yes.
Right here on Rage Select. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
And we've got this is like the fan service one. Like, this is for the hardcore true believers.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, we've got Square Enix and we've got Nintendo, and they both are companies with kind of like, I feel like rabid fan base followers
I'll give you that.
who like what the stuff
They
that they
play
like.
to their audience.
Yes, exactly. So, we've got quite a bit to talk about here. So rather than belabor the point for much longer,
So I do want to state,
okay,
obviously we're going to be talking about Square Enix
yes,
first.
100%.
And it's interesting because if you look at Square's history of press conferences at E3,
yes,
they've kind of always embodied the worst of press conferences. And then last year they tried something new by doing a Nintendo Direct style video instead of an actual press conference.
right.
And then now they've abandoned that and went, well, why don't we just do it like an actual showy, flashy press conference?
Well, it's funny because for so long, their press conferences were like old school E3 conferences.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, every year we bring this up, and I don't think we've talked about it this year, but like E3 started its life as not like a consumer entertainment event, but as a trade show.
Yeah.
Like those early, go back and watch like the 2001 Sony E3 press conference, and it was like they come out and talk about the sales figures for the PlayStation 2 launch for an hour and a half before anything happens.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of bar graphs and stuff, and now it's become these very slickly produced things. And Square, in a lot of ways, was sticking with those old,
they literally
style
it would
things.
be a panel room, like a small room with a stage and a table and maybe a podium, and then someone would come out and talk at the podium about numbers or that a specific franchise would get, or just talk about a specific game that's going to be coming out. And then they would walk off, and then someone else would come in and basically repeat that process for a different game, or whatever. And it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you had some people do some weird shit. Like some people be like, "No, we're gonna do some weird shit with this press conference."
Or like Yoko Taro comes out in his Moon Man mask.
He comes out in everything public. In his moon mask, but it's just like. There have been weird things. Like, I think, what was it, that one year that Namco had like a conference, and they had a guy come out for Never Dead, and it was like a guy in a costume where he could pull his head off and hold it.
Okay.
And it was just really weird and bizarre.
Yeah. Konami's still kind of the worst, though, right? They've always had the most. I don't know. EA's been creeping up over the years with some of their conferences.
Bandai gave up on their conferences, and I think even Konami's eventually gave up on their conference as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's.
But yeah, Square Enix
They decided to come out swinging this time.
Yeah, they wanted to do it. They got a big stage. They had this weird motif of painting frames that they would go between.
Because their games are works of art, Jeff.
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Question mark? That's what it is. Answer. But okay, so just to get everybody ready, Square Enix has it's like the letter U on a bar graph. It's like a beginning, good end, and in the middle, I hope you like hearing about old games getting remastered and re-released.
Also, I think it was interesting because the night prior, there was a Final Fantasy Symphony concert.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they announced the release date of Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
And they released a trailer and they put it all online and everything. And everyone's like, your conference is not till tomorrow. Why are you doing this now?
Oh, Japan. Because I don't know. It's been. I love watching Japan try to figure out what the fuck to do. In any case, we got to get started here because this one's got a lot to it. So we came out and it started with the title screen of Final Fantasy VII that said "New Game, Continue" with the sword on it, and then a new thing at the bottom came up that said "Remake?" question mark.
Yeah,
and then they went down and hit the remake button,
and the crowd like freaking out, like, "Yeah, remake! Oh my god, it's the most amazing thing ever!"
I almost feel like this was like. The way this was put together, I almost feel like they were just announcing this
for the first time. Yeah.
It wasn't like, yeah, we all know, and you told us the release date last night, and we knew you were going to show it at E3, or I don't know, given Square's...
Well, also, if I'm not mistaken, this is actually the same trailer, like because there's two trailers that they show.
Right.
But the first trailer that they show with that remake thing, if I'm not mistaken, this is that exact trailer from when they did first announce it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, because I thought when it was going on, I was asking the chat room, I was like, didn't we see this already?
Yeah.
And they were like, nah. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this was the first one with the train.
Yeah, this is nothing new.
So, yeah, anyway, it went all the way through. And then we finally got some actual gameplay, like some we'd seen snippets of gameplay.
They brought up the fact that they showed us some in-game gameplay in which it's very action-oriented Kingdom Hearts, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's Nomura style, like real-time Kingdom Hearts. So, okay, anyway, let's go through here. Apparently, it's like you're going to be kind of doing real-time, like hitting the button for every slash, and then that's going to fill up an ATB gauge, and then when that ATB gauge gets filled up, it's like you can pause time, and you can like kind of do some more like special attacks or switching over to other people, this is exactly what I didn't want out of this, even though I knew that this was probably what was going to happen.
And also, it doesn't stop time. It just slows it.
Oh, yeah.
Because things are still moving.
Yeah, just very slowly. So, yeah, when I look at this screen, it looks so much like Kingdom Hearts. Like, there's a menu on the left-hand side with different, abilities, spells, items, and it looks like... like Final Fantasy 15 or like Kingdom Hearts 3 or one of those real-time Square games, which I'm just simply not a fan of as much as I am.
Yeah.
The kind of other turn-based slower stuff.
So I think I've said this before.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to get shit for it. I am more upset that this is not just a new game.
It's not just Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah, that it's not just a new game. I'm not even asking for it to be Final Fantasy. Just be a new game.
Yeah.
Entirely. Just fucking do whatever.
Yeah.
I like Final Fantasy 7. It's a very good game. It came out at a time when it was very good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed how I played it. I look back on that game fondly, but I played that game already. I don't need it again.
Yeah.
I don't need it remade.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are so hyped about it being remade because holy fucking shit, I don't give a damn.
Well, okay, so here's, if I could say, I definitely agree with that sentiment, is that there's a general feeling, I feel like, of sequelitis going on in this year's E3, like we go back to the Microsoft conference, it's like, oh, Gears 5, new Halo, new, or we go to Bethesda, we're talking about even the sequels to Elder Scrolls. There's a lot of sequel stuff going on this year. I feel like if you wanted to do a remake of Final Fantasy VII, and I know this really isn't the way that Square operates, I like the way that Capcom did the RE2 remake, where they announced it last year, and then 9 months later, boom, it was out. Yeah. Right? Like it wasn't this thing where we're doing teasers in anticipation. And this shit started when they made that one remake of the train scene for the PS4, right? Remember? Before they announced it was a thing, all they did was just show that one little bit and then go, but we're not remaking Final Fantasy VII.
Well, even before that when Advent Children came out, people were like, okay, now remake Final Fantasy VII with Advent Children's graphics.
Right.
That was literally what everyone said, that because they released that movie, everyone went, we want you to remake it with Advent Children's looking design. You do it, Square, do it. And it's just like, holy fucking shit, I hate you fans. I mean, like you said, at least with Resident Evil 2, I didn't know about it, and when it came, when it was announced, I was even then when Resident Evil 2 was announced, I was kind of like, kind of wish this was another a new game.
RE8, yeah.
Yeah, and just another Resident Evil game, or even another game that's not a Resident Evil title.
Right.
And then when it came out, it's good. I played it. I played it. I enjoyed it. I'll play this. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. But everyone I know who's like so super hyped about it, I'm like, Final Fantasy VII is probably the most overhyped video game in the existence of all video games, and I will stick by that and fight you to death over that statement because it is overhyped to the point of that I actually started disliking the game because of how hyped people get about it.
I could see that. I mean, for my money, a lot of it comes down to a thing that I've said a bunch of times before, which is, okay, listen, I know what happens in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Right? I remember what happens in Final Fantasy VII. Cloud's a soldier. He joins up with Avalanche. You know, Shinra Corporation, the live stream. Here comes Sephiroth. There's Genova. We got to save the planet. Yuffie, Tifa, Red, Kate Sith, Sid. You know, we're all going to get in an airship, go on an adventure. You get the summon for 100 nights. You know, you got to fight Bahamut. You got the, emerald weapons, ruby weapon, all this different stuff. Sephiroth's pulling the plan. Okay, fine, right? None of that. I'm sorry if that's a spoiler to you, but this game is fucking old. And so the question to me becomes, if they simply remake Final Fantasy VII word for word the way that it was, well, I know that story. So there's not, what happens to Aerith is not a surprise to me because I was surprised when it happened when your game came out, not the remake.
Yeah.
But then if they change things, then they're gonna piss off the people who just want a direct shot-for-shot remake.
Also, there's another aspect of this that kind of irritated me a little bit, and I'm going to be the person who's going to be negative about this, and I apologize. Again, I want to stress I liked Final Fantasy VII when I played it originally.
Sure.
I've enjoyed it when I played it, again a second time or whatnot.
I never played it. I played it once. And
I've never actually beaten it a second time, but I've tried to go back and play it, and I usually end up stopping around halfway through it.
Yeah.
And I'll probably play this. They're still coming out and saying, "Hey, this is only part 1."
Right.
And it's and every time someone asks how many parts is it, they're like, "Well, we're not talking about that right now." But this is part 1.
In fact, didn't they say that it was going to be on 2 Blu-rays?
Well, that's the thing that people ask. Like, so are you saying that the game, once it's completed full game, like all parts, it's going to be 2 discs? So is it two parts? Like you're going to release this and it's on 1 disc, and then the second part will be a second disc? Or are you saying that this part by itself is 2 Blu-rays? And they're just like, whoa, we're not being specific on that right now.
I don't know. Okay,
and
so
it's just like. Also, the fact that they even said that once this is done and out,
yeah,
it's probably going to be about 7 or 8 years before we get the next part.
Did they actually say that?
Something like that. Like it's not going to be like the following year you get part 2. It's like, no, they have to start working on part 2 from scratch.
Right. Yeah, boy, howdy.
I'm probably 7 or 8 years is probably an exaggeration, but I'm almost willing to bet you part 2 of this.
That'll be like a couple of years.
2, 3, maybe 4 years, which that, again, Resident Evil 2 remake, they announced it. It came out that same year. Or within a year.
Next year. Yeah.
Within a year.
Yeah.
This, they announced 2, 3 years ago.
Something like that, yeah.
And part 1 is coming out?
Next year.
Next year?
No less. Yeah.
Like, it's like, if you're excited for this, that's great. I love it.
Well, I mean,
you're allowed to love it. It
actually brings up an interesting question of like, is it going to? It's got to ooze into the next console generation, right? So then there'll be a second version for whatever the PS5 Scarlet edition of it. I mean, here's the thing. It looks beautiful.
It does. It looks nice.
Every part of it looks very beautiful.
Like I said, I will probably play this. I can't get the hype that everyone else seems to have.
Yeah, the combat system. The reason that I'm not a big fan of the real-time combat system is because these games tend to be very long, and I like to sit back on the couch with a beer and play this, not jam on a button. They say every button press is going to be a hit. And again, I was talking with somebody in the chat room when we were watching this. Like, look, I don't necessarily think that this game needs to be Final Fantasy X, right? It doesn't need to be 3 people standing there turn-based, right? Doesn't have to be that. Like, it can be a different system. It's just that, like, Final Fantasy 15 was a Nomura game. Kingdom Hearts 3 was a Nomura game. Like, you have to go back to Final Fantasy 13, like Lightning Returns, to find something that Square put out that's not either an MMO or a Nomura game. And I like some of the other types of combat systems that they have. Like, I just don't want every game to play like Kingdom Hearts. And I don't think that's like, I don't think that Kingdom Hearts is the pinnacle of JRPG combat design. And like, I didn't really like Final Fantasy 15 because it was in real time. I don't care for Kingdom Hearts because of the real time aspect of it.
I do think that's kind of funny that while we're both talking negatively about this, we're both talking negatively about it for completely different reasons.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. It's very true. Like, well, you were like, I'm going to be the negative one. And I was like, oh, John, I've got a surprise for you.
Oh, well, no, but the thing is you're not harping on the same things that I'm harping on. Like, the things you're talking about, I don't care. I honestly don't. I don't care. I don't care about that, and I understand you care about that, and that's fine. And you know, but it's like my negativity is coming from a completely different place than yours is.
Right. So again, what I came to,
and I apologize to the Final Fantasy VII fans out there because of that.
There's nothing you can say to them that isn't that's not glowing praise that isn't going to make them mad. Here's what I ended up with in the chat, right?
Yeah.
Was I'm obviously going to play this when it comes out.
Yeah.
Right? This is like when we watch the trailer for a superhero movie and I'm like, meh. I mean, I'm still going to watch it, right? Yeah. I watched Venom, for fuck's sake. I'm going to play Final Fantasy VII.
I still have not seen that.
I haven't seen Shazam yet.
I haven't seen that either. I haven't seen any of the DC movies since Batman v Superman.
But like, so if I play this, and maybe it comes out fine, right? Maybe I end up being like, oh, I've fallen in love with Final Fantasy VII all over again. And I'm like, okay, hooray. It's just, I know how long it takes Square to make things. And as I've mentioned on previous podcasts, I've been waiting for a new Final Fantasy forever. Because think about the timeline, John. Like, 10 had a sequel, right? And then 11 was an MMO. 12 was based in Ivalice, and I didn't care for it. 13 was kind of a dud, but then there were 2 sequels to 13. Then 14, which was the MMO that then got scrapped, remade, put back together. 15, which was technically more Final Fantasy 13 that got spun off into its own franchise. Then Kingdom Hearts. Now Final Fantasy 7. I've been waiting for years to just get a new AAA beautiful Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 16, right? That's not an MMO, not a remake, and not part of another franchise. And not made by Tetsuya Nomura. Like, just let somebody else make it. I mentioned this on a previous show. I went back and started playing Final Fantasy 13 too, and I was like, oh my God, what a breath of fresh air to play a Final Fantasy game that's not Kingdom Hearts, that's not like a remake. I mean, it is a sequel to 13, but it like tries to fix a lot of the problems from 13. So again, I'm going to play this when it comes out. It's just, you're not going to ever find me going like, oh, fuck, I cannot wait. Oh, my God, my dick is so hard for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, everything here, I mean, Square makes really good-looking games. We're watching this boss fight with the Scorpion thing. It looks amazing. It
looks good.
Debris everywhere. There's particle effects everywhere. You know, Barrett and Cloud have never looked better. They're jumping around. They're blocking. It's dynamic and action. Oh, Jad, yeah, here comes the Scorpion Sentinel. Oh, he's going to do his critical attack. We're going to get behind cover. Oh, Cloud, what are you doing? And here's a cutscene. Everybody looks like a real person. Great. But I'm not going to be pre-hyped for this one because not the same way that I am for something like, let me make a comparison, like Ghostwire Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a new weird thing from a developer that I'm interested in, and I'm willing to like let myself get excited for this. This one, I've been burned by the last like 3 or 4 Final Fantasy games. So I'm just going to go and play it and see how it goes. And then maybe in a decade, we can get Final Fantasy 16 and see if we could do something that's not just a Kingdom Hearts fight. I don't want to play. I just don't want to play Kingdom Hearts. I don't want to play Kingdom Hearts.
I'm just really bitter about the fact that it's not even the full game.
Yeah,
like and you're probably right. Part 2 is probably not even going to come out on this console generation, and it's like at that point, why even fucking bother?
Well, you know, they'll probably release the second part on this generation, but then by that point, it'll be on both. It'll be like one of those cross-platform titles, like the Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, maybe.
At least, I mean, Square wants to make money, so if they could release it on both platforms, it's not like the PS5 is going to have a radically different architecture than the PS4. It'll just be like if it was on the PC and, you had to crank the graphics down on one of them and crank the graphics up on the other one.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. You can switch between the protagonists. They did show that. They showed They showed a second trailer.
Well, this was the trailer from last night, except it was longer.
Oh, okay.
This is the trailer that was shown at the Symphony. Except this is a longer version of it. Because they didn't want to show everything because there was because they wanted the reveal to be, because there was a question that everyone's been asking and noticing with all the promotional material that they've released.
Yeah.
There's been a certain character that has been completely absent.
Yeah.
From all of the trailers.
It's Kate Sith, right?
No.
Red 18, Red 14, Red 17.
Well, no, that character's also been missing. But the character that has been missing is Tifa.
Tifa, yeah.
Yeah, and people wanted to know how she looked because a lot of people were really concerned.
Why? She's a Japanese lady with a tank top and a black shorts, right?
And that's kind of the thing. It's like there are some people that some people are like, hey, her outfit kind of doesn't age well. Over
Neither
time
does Barrett.
and then there's the people that are like, if they change anything, if her tits aren't gigantically fucking huge, then fuck this game. And the SJWs that did it.
Yeah.
And it looks fine. Like they finally showed her, and she looks fine. She looks great.
Looks like Tifa.
It looks like Tifa.
Yeah. I've never been obsessed with the size of Tifa's tits, so I
don't understand.
If they make them slightly smaller, I don't care. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
How big Tifa's tits are. Like that's just not.
Make an interesting character.
Yep. When I go to play a game, my main concern is not the size of the boobage. So, although I was a little, I had to go back and look. I didn't realize she was wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
In the previous one, and she's still wearing a skirt now, and I'm kind of like, you just get some hot pants on there. I mean,
she's wearing hot pants under the skirt.
Yeah. In any case, I would go back to In conclusion, Tifa looks fine. The game looks fine. We're going to be playing it next year. We'll see what happens. John and I both have different reasons for being a little bit meh about it. I'll tell you this though.
I mean, everything I'm seeing looks good. I'm just
they said they were going to remake Final Fantasy 13 trilogy like 3 years ago. You remember they sold that treasure chest that had like every single Final Fantasy game in it, like remastered, because they did like 7 remastered, and they were gonna put together a bunch of things. They were gonna remaster apparently all the Final Fantasy 13 collection for the PlayStation, which I like the Final Fantasy 13 games, and I've been waiting for years, and then it's just like, no, Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy 7, and I'm like, what about the one that I like? And they're like, fuck what you like. You will play nostalgia. You will eat it. Eat it all, motherfucker. Cheer. Because, I mean, when I was watching this, the people in the audience, I thought they were going to start eating each other. They were so excited. Yeah. They were so fucking excited for all this stuff. And I'm like, I mean, keep your expectations a little bit under control.
And then they also announced that if you pre-order now, you'll receive bonuses and
and the collector's
edition.
There's
a deluxe edition.
Yep.
And then there's
the collector's
another one.
They have to announce it. Oh, oops! I went too far.
And then there's like the
Square
really big
on a
one.
motorcycle, or no, Square with Cloud on it. God damn it! I cannot.
Yeah,
make this.
Apparently the motorcycle's like a foot long. Like the statue's like a full foot long in length.
Okay.
Like it's huge. Like it's not a small statue.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Cloud on a motorcycle.
It's Cloud on a motorcycle.
So
didn't Tetsuo Nomura also direct Final Fantasy the Spirits, not the Advent Children?
I think he probably did. Yeah,
with all the crazy spinning around motorcycles and stuff.
Yeah,
just tired of that aesthetic, man. I guess I remember when things used to be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit different. Final Fantasy, I don't know. Final Fantasy is a franchise that I feel like has gotten away from me over the years. I'll tell you a franchise that has not gotten away from me over the years because I never got into it is Life is Strange. This is the strangest trailer I've ever seen because it was like Life is Strange 2, I believe, is all released, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the last episode just came out.
Okay. But they had this weird trailer that started out as just like a trailer for Life is Strange and then became a trailer for the fact that a bunch of YouTubers have played Life is Strange and like them reacting to Life is Strange. Like, oh my God, I can't believe what just happened in Life is Strange. And it was like, what?
Yeah, like again, it's a promoting it.
Yeah,
you know.
but I guess if you were
if you want to show people's reactions to the game, I mean that's kind of what you do now. You show a YouTuber's legit reaction to playing the game, as opposed to the YouTuber reactions are now the box quotes.
Oh, I need to record one video of me reacting in a bunch of different ways, and then just use it for every single video game and trailer that comes out. So, oh my God, holy shit, wow. You guys can use that for your box quotes if you need. Holy shit, wow. Jeff from Rage, like, put it on any box and send me a copy of the game. That's all I ask. I'm not famous. I'm not putting on airs over here, John. I'm just, trying to do my thing. From there, we got a trailer for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered, which also I felt like had a lot of. Okay, I look, I'm
I got nothing to say.
I'm not trying to be the world's biggest douche chill over here, but like I kind of remember this game not being very good when it was on the GameCube, right? Like it was like a 4-player online co-op, kind of just grindy dungeon adventure where you had this like this wagon and you're taking it across the land and you're trying to
also, if I'm not mistaken, this is not the first time it's been remastered.
I think it is actually.
Oh, okay. I think
they announced it last year.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
What I'm thinking. I could have swore it's been remastered like twice.
It's also going to be on the phones, though. It's also going to be on iPhone and Android.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say I don't remember this as being an especially good game. So the idea of remastering it once again kind of ties into this whole Square, just like. Who am I ripping off right now? I was watching Just Right, which is a YouTube channel doing things about movies, and they were talking about Stranger Things and how it references a bunch of stuff from the 80s, how it like apes shots from like The Shining and whatever.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the member berries from South Park, and like a lot of times that's what I get out of this is like, you remember Crystal Chronicles, right? You remember how much fun everybody had with that? And I'm like, no. I remember you had to have a Game Boy Advance because that was where like the menu screen was, and then you're supposed to play with your friends, but I didn't have any friends to play with, and no, I don't remember it being a very good game. I remember it being a very boring game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, though. Octopath Traveler got a trailer. That's mostly because it just came out on the PC.
Yeah.
So it's just released on the PC. If you're interested in JRPGs,
Octopath Traveler is a great game.
It's great.
I actually really enjoyed that.
I didn't finish it. I got bored 2/3 of the way through, but yeah, check it out if you feel like it. From there, we got a trailer for The Last Remnant Remastered, which
a lot of remasters going on.
Yeah, trust me, like we're going to be repeating that statement with a lot of different small variations. Last Remnant Remastered is already out on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and I believe the PC. This was specifically to announce that it was coming out on the Switch. And I believe it came out on the Switch like the day after this trailer came out.
Yes, you are correct.
It's a weird game, and this is definitely one of those, like, I can look back on The Last Remnant and go, oh, right, like, this is kind of the weirdness that I've been looking for. Like, it's got a
All I got to say is, where's my Bouncer remaster?
Bouncer remaster. It's right where my Einhander remaster is, John. So
okay. Right.
They're both in the same wishing winter wonderland that doesn't exist in this world. No, it's The Quiet Man is your Bouncer remaster. Didn't you know that? Didn't you know that? Where's The Quiet Man 2, Square? Come on. Everybody loved The Quiet Man so much. Oh, you're just pretending like it doesn't exist now. But Last Remnant, I mean, like, listen, I already played it when it came out, but like if you're a fan of JRPGs, it's a very strange system. You create like groups, and then the groups have this weird combat, and there's like all this crazy shit going on. Chris and I played it for Patreon, so if you want to see it, maybe become a patron of Rage Select, rageselect.com, patreon.com/Rage Select. But yeah, that is out. It was like, and it's out today, and I was like, fuck, I already played that game. From there, we got a big old trailer for Dragon Quest Builders 2, which
Yeah.
looks like more Dragon Quest Builders.
If you like Dragon Quest Builders.
You probably like Dragon Quest Builders too. A lot of more new stuff to build, new types of buildings to build them on. Did you play Dragon Quest Builders?
I did not.
I played a little bit of it. I found it to be pretty fun, but a bit repetitive. You know, just kind of like Minecraft. You get to a point where you're just like, all right, I'm done here. But you know, it's a fun game if that's what you're into. Is Minecraft, but with Dragon Quest. It's interesting that it was popular enough that they ended up making a sequel.
Yeah.
So, not that exactly that it seems like the most, the most technologically advanced game that's ever been created in the history of mankind. So yeah, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is coming out. From there, we got a trailer for the Switch version of Dragon Quest 11.
Yes.
Which we already kind of knew about. The big thing on the Switch version is that you can really play the entire game in like a 16-bit version.
Yeah, you can switch between the two modes.
Yep. Which is a really kind of cool little thing. It also, I think, has all the DLC that they've already released for original Dragon Quest 11. You know, this game is already out. Like, unless the 16-bit mode really tickles your fancy, this game exists already on a lot of different places. So, but you know, game on the Switch, right? That's one of the things the Switch has been doing a lot of this generation. Is like, also you can now go play it on the Switch if you would like to play it on the fly.
Yes,
it's kind of the equivalent of having like a big 3DS, right? And then half of every games that all the games that come out are also on your weird big 3DS that you could take with you wherever you go. So, seems good. From there, we talked a little bit about the Square Enix Collective, which I actually think is kind of underrated, John.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, you and I, we've played a few of the things from the Square Enix Collective. I don't know, was that back in the timeline where they were talking about that? I think I'm going the wrong direction. Yeah, where we had the games we had Tokyo Dark we played, Turing Test. Like Amanda and I played that. What are some of the other ones? There's a bunch of stuff on here. We haven't played all of them, but
Fear
Effect Sedna. Yeah. So yeah, and then they showed the stuff that's coming up in 2020. One of them was this like kind of weird top-down RC Pro-Am looking thing called Circuit Racers.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's fine. There's not a lot to say about it. Like, it's just kind of like a top-down little car racing game.
Yeah, it's a type of racing game you don't see a lot of.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
It's kind of like what's that? RC? No. Well, it's like RC Pro-Am on the NES, but also super off-road sort of. We also got a trailer or some information about Battalion 1944, which is an online World War II FPS. Looks like Medal of Honor or Day of Defeat or something. I actually went online. It's in early access on Steam right now. You can already play it. The reviews for it were very mixed. I feel like it seems like it's a very twitchy game. Like, it's less about strategy and more about, you know, buddy hopping and super quick kills and stuff like that. Which is fine. I don't think either one of those would make me really super interested in this, but so that was that. Then we had a truly bizarre but somewhat charming trailer for Square Enix Music.
Yes.
This was the trailer. I thought was one of the more entertaining trailers because it's this lady and she's in a coffee shop and this full orchestra gets in behind her, and they're all like, as she's going through the different music, they're switching instruments and switching their stuff around, and then right when they get ready to play, somebody texts the lady and says that Square Enix Music is on like Spotify and a bunch of other services. And so she leaves, and they don't get to play their music. This is a very weird thing. I mean, I heard about it, but like Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, PlayStation Music, a bunch of other services I've never heard of before in my entire life.
Yeah, I agree.
But you can listen to all the Final Fantasy soundtracks. So if that's what you're into,
there's some really good soundtracks for Final Fantasy.
Sure. I will honestly say that Final Fantasy probably has the most not just of any franchise, has the most consistently good
game soundtracks and iconic soundtracks.
They are very good. They're exceptionally good. I mean, there's a reason why you would go listen to a symphony play them. It's because they're well arranged.
Because I feel like every game, and this includes back in the old, Final Fantasy 1, has at least one song that is iconic enough that you hear it and you go, I know that's from a Final Fantasy game.
Yep. I don't know, for the longest time back when we used to do, I don't know if does anybody customize their ringtones anymore, John?
Some people do.
One of my friends, his ringtone was the 7 victory music, because he was the one that when I did play 7, him and I traded off for I'm gonna play for 2 hours, you play for 2 hours or whatever. But if you want to listen to Final Fantasy music, there you go. Final Fantasy music. From there, we got a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC, the Remind DLC. As near as I could tell, I don't think this has any Disney stuff in. There's no Disney stuff in the trailer. It was a weird trailer where the characters were talking to each other, but there was no dialogue, so text just came up on screen. Yeah. Like big stylized
it's that weird thing that they've been doing with all the the Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers, where there is no sound from the game; it's all a musical score.
Maybe they don't want to get. Maybe their copyright strike system is so aggressive that they don't want to get their own trailers accidentally struck off of YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, as somebody who didn't really care for Kingdom Hearts 3, this is more of that. So. I think I would have been more interested if there was something Disney related in here.
Yeah.
But this seems like it's very much focused on the Final Fantasy 13, and I use quotey fingers, story. All these guys are wearing the Organization 13 outfits, and they're all talking cryptically to each other about different things.
That was in Final Fantasy 13?
What's that?
You said Final Fantasy 13?
Kingdom Hearts 3. God, I got Final Fantasy 13 in the brain. I'm sorry. We have too many Square things in my brain right now.
Yeah.
The Kingdom Hearts 3 thing.
It's coming this winter, though.
Yeah. We actually already knew about that.
Yeah.
But, we got another trailer for Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers, which I honestly thought was already out. This is that one that has that super cool trailer where it's like the light warriors become like the big threat, so you got to turn dark. I'm going to file this away under this is more actual gameplay than I normally expect out of the Square Enix trailers. And it's pretty dramatic, and I'm sure that if I played Final Fantasy 14, I would be super, super all into playing this.
Yeah.
It's not going to get me, though. There comes a time, right, in every MMO's life where the number of expansions has gotten so far forward that it becomes daunting to a new character to be like, well, I'm going to play this game for 95 hours to get to the new content, and I just don't know that I'm interested in doing that.
Yeah.
But, again, if you're into Final Fantasy 14, I mean, it looks good. It looks better than Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, that's right. I went there. As we have already said a bunch of times before, the next thing that we got a trailer for was Dying Light 2. This is a little bit better than the trailer that we saw before, than the one at the Xbox show, but it's still just kind of like...
It's more here to remind us that it exists.
Yep, Dying Light is a thing. That's a thing. That's a thing. So, I'm not going to talk too much about that. After that, we got the Romancing Saga 3 re-release. I remember they actually re-released Romancing Saga, I believe, 1 and 2 in a single package.
Yeah.
So this is the third one. These are games that, at least as far as I can tell, never got over to the West.
Okay.
There's also, I believe, a new character with a new story, because these games are all about having a huge number of different characters that all have different stories.
Okay.
Kind of Octopathy, as near as I could tell. Then there's also Scarlet Saga Grace Ambitions, which was a PlayStation Vita JRPG that they are porting over to the consoles.
Nice.
Yeah. So there were a lot of PlayStation Vita JRPGs, I feel like, that were...
there were a lot of PlayStation Vita JRPGs, dude.
Just there, and then never went anywhere else, and that the best of them have gotten pulled over. I've never heard... I mean, this is obviously part of the Saga universe. I've never played a Saga game. I think I played the first one for a dojo.
Yeah, I've never played them.
But And then we talked about there was a brief trailer for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius expansion War of the Visions. That is 100% cell phone game. That's their cell phone game. Not really super interested in that. From there, we actually got something that I am interested in, even though I'm a little confused about it.
Oh yeah.
Last year they announced that People Can Fly announced a new game, and that is Outriders, and we saw a little bit more of it this time. It's a very grim, kind of like, I don't know, weird post-apocalyptic Furiosa thing.
Yeah.
I feel like last year the one that we saw was, or was it the year before, was more horror-oriented, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where it was like in a spooky graveyard. It was like a shooter. Was it a shooter?
It was a shooter, if I remember correctly.
This one's a very just kind of grim.
I mean, this one also insinuates it's going to be a shooter. I mean, it is just a CGI trailer, but the implication
like
is
a
that
supernatural shooter.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on here. I'm willing to give People Can Fly a
This was
chance.
definitely one of the ones from this conference that I actually saw and was like, okay, I
Yeah.
want to know more.
Kind of a dark horse, but I'll keep an eye out for that one. Let's see. From there, we got a trailer for that Oninaki, the game from the Tokyo RPG studio. That we've already seen a bunch of trailers for this one, where it's like all about the ushering the dead over, or talking to the dead, or something about the dead. It's got that same kind of I Am Setsuna. There's one other one that I can never remember. Kind of chibi-esque art style.
Yeah.
In a 3D context. I don't know. I a hard time figuring out whether that one's going to be any good or not. But we'll find out on August 22nd. And then Final Fantasy VIII. We're starting down the road where we made the graphics slightly better, and we're gonna start releasing Final Fantasy VIII on every goddamn platform like we did with 7.
Remastered for this generation.
Yep. Here comes.
And so I've actually never played 8, but I did think it was funny because more than one friend on my Facebook feed was like, "Are they going to remaster it into a good game?" Which is funny because I always thought it was generally a liked game. Like, most people liked it, maybe not as much as 7, but generally liked it. But apparently a lot of people don't.
Well, it's got a really it's one of those, sometimes Square gets too systems happy for its own good.
Yeah.
So like Final Fantasy VIII has a thing where it auto balances the difficulty to wherever you are. So you never, like, I always hate that, because to me it always makes a game feel like you're never making any forward progress, because you're never more powerful than this area, but not powerful enough yet for this area. It's just everything is always kind of medium amounts of difficult.
Okay.
And then, like, to get magic in that game, you've got to, like, extract the magic out of enemies. Like, take a turn, and instead of attacking or defending, you extract magic charges out of enemies, so you have to like get everything all charged up before you go into a boss battle. I've never beaten it. I can't stand it.
I've never played it.
I played it. I've tried playing it a bunch of times, and first I hate Squall. He's so emo. Like, I hate the emo protagonists. But I hear that there's a turning point in the storyline where it kind of becomes about this weird time witch and blah blah blah. And that it gets really, really good. It's just, it's
slog to get through.
It's so boring to play that I don't want to. I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but they announced it's coming to all the consoles. So
yeah,
Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Steam.
Yeah. Epic Games Store. No, I'm just kidding. All right, from there we got the one that everybody was waiting for. John, everybody's had the breath held. Everybody has been waiting patiently for years to hear about that. Square Enix is making an Avengers game. We got a teaser last year with a bunch of broken Avengers.
It was like 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Was it 2 years ago? I don't have any idea.
Like, it's been a while since they announced it.
Okay,
but it was it was like a teaser that didn't show anything. It just was a ground, and you saw a bunch of shattered stuff.
Yeah, a bunch of the different Avenger stuff on it. So we're finally getting an Avengers game. All right, let's talk about it. So first off, they've decided to kind of. They're obviously not using the direct likeness rights of the people from the movies.
They said this is not MCU based. This is they're not making an MCU based game.
I mean, they're kind of like when I look at this shot of them, their outfits are pretty similar to the movies.
Not really, because Captain America didn't wear hockey pads, or umpire or goal, whatever catcher.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah, but It is very different. I think that my favorite meme from this whole thing is the space balls. Like, you idiots, you've captured their stunt doubles. And then it shows the picture of them.
Right.
Which I think is really funny because they all look off.
Yeah.
Also, no fucking Hawkeye. What the fuck?
No Hawkeye.
What is that shit?
Oh, don't worry, John. We'll get to that. So, yeah, we got Hulk, we got Cap, we got Black Widow, we got Iron Man, we got Thor. We got 5 people. Seems to be a third-person action game. I'm pretty sure, I don't think any of this is actual gameplay footage.
It is, actually.
It is actually gameplay footage? Okay. There's the whole setup appears to be there's some kind of big muckety-muck that goes down, and then there's a giant catastrophe, and then we're like years later, and we're reassembling the Avengers.
So, yeah, essentially what happens is that they're opening up an Avengers station in
West Coast.
San Francisco, West Coast
Avengers.
very clearly West Coast.
No
Avengers.
Wonder Man.
Yeah, no Wonder Man.
Pissed.
And no Hawkeye. But they while they're doing their ceremony to announce, they've even got their own helicarrier that's going to act as a base for the Avengers. A mobile base. Suddenly the San Francisco bridge gets attacked by Taskmaster and his goons.
Yeah,
and then it turns out it's all been the fucking.
It's a ruse.
It's a ruse. It was a distraction because what they wanted was the thing that is powering the helicarrier, which is this experimental thing that Tony was working on. That they didn't know what it was, but it was powering the helicarrier, and then it explodes and takes pretty much all of San Francisco with it.
Yeah.
And Cap is presumed dead.
Yep. And now it's years later, and we got an Iron Man with a big bushy beard, and we're talking about we're gonna get the band back together. We're gonna figure this out. That's pretty much what we saw. Now there is a brief Abomination is in there very briefly. Who was that fighting Black Widow?
I don't know.
It's just a big motherfucker. But some of this stuff is very similar, I feel like, to things that I've seen in the movies. We got a space Iron Man, white suit. Okay, so let's put our cards on the table here, right? This is a games of service game, right?
So I don't know.
It's 4 players with your. The description of it makes it sound an awful lot like Anthem.
Yeah, it does. So the more they talk about it, it does sound like Anthem. So there is a single-player component, and when you're playing it in the single-player story mode, you jump between the characters as you're playing. And each character, you don't choose which character you're going to play the mission as. You jump between the characters as a single player.
Okay.
So and each character plays completely different. And then there is a multiplayer component which you can play through certain sections of the game with your friends, and each of you choose a character to play as.
All right.
That's
seems like it's going to be a kind of confusing when you pick Iron Man and I pick Captain America and I've got to run for 25 minutes to get to where you are. Okay, so let me tell you some of the reasons that I've so they talked about the 4-player co-op. They did say, I'd have some actual quotes here. A growing roster of heroes.
Yes.
That was in there. And then they actually said no additional cost for new heroes. No, and then no did they say loot boxes?
They said no loot
boxes. Which makes me think that this is looking at a live service model, right?
So the theory a lot of people have is that no one likes the character design of any of the characters that have been appeared in this.
Boy, I sure don't.
And they've said that there will be other costumes. So a lot of people are thinking that
you gotta buy Robert Downey Jr.
So there'll probably be some in-game currency that you can buy.
Oh Jesus!
And if you want the movie Iron Man costume or the Chris Evans Captain America costume, then you have to buy that with whatever their in-game currency is. Or with real money, You know
what? Here, let me just put my cards out on the table, right? This is obviously not a Jedi Fallen Order bespoke single-player video game, right?
No,
Obviously, it's got some kind of online BS integration. It's probably going to have, as you said, cosmetics, right? Because if it's not loot boxes and it's not a season pass, then it's got to be cosmetics, right?
Yeah.
That's just where we're at. And so it seems like if they can put together a third-person action-based game with like medium graphics, right, built into their engine,
then
they can announce, hey, everybody, next week for $5, we got the new Captain Marvel pack, and you get Captain Marvel as a character for free with it. Play it online with your friends, and it's like, oh, I want to be kind of basically like Ultimate Alliance, but from a different viewpoint, right?
Yeah.
It's basically Ultimate Alliance with better graphics and a different viewpoint, more to be played online with other people than couch co-op.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the impression that I'm getting. Like, you've obviously read and watched more about this than I have, but that is the impression that I am getting from this particular conference. Just from the fidelity of the graphics to the stuff that they're saying, which it's a little bit of a bummer. I mean, you know, I feel like I've been waiting through the entire MCU for an MCU game, and I mean, you know, they had the Captain America: The First Avenger. Was that the last one? Was it Thor? Was Thor?
I think
Which came first? Was it Thor first and then Captain America?
I don't know.
Those two were like the last ones, right, from Phase 1.
Yeah.
And there hasn't been a tie-in game for anything since then. And now to hear that,
Unless you count the Amazing Spider-Man games, but those technically aren't Marvel; those are Sony.
Right. I don't know. I guess there's so many good stories in the MCU, and they seem like they're set up to make a video game out of, and it's either Lego or now we've got this live service thing. I don't know. Are you excited? I mean, are you pumped? Do you hold a lot of hope? I've become a worthless cynic, John, so I don't know what to
here's
do.
the thing. I think it might be good. Like, I think it might be okay, like, to play well, because hearing people talk about it at the, you know, that have went into showings of the game, and actually play it or whatnot. I think it'll be entertaining. It may be a little grindy, but if the story's compelling, sure.
I guess that's
great.
what it really depends on.
And also, they're while they've yet to say it, and they kind of hold back when anyone asks, the implication is that when you get a new character, there will also be story content with that new character as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just like you're getting, oh, well, now you can play through the whole game as Ant-Man.
Right.
It's, no, you're getting this Hank Pym Ant-Man story, and you can play as Hank in that, and then also in the other stuff.
Okay. Makes a certain amount of sense. I guess the other thing that sets off some just like I'm not saying that this is going to be a bad game. I'm withholding a little bit more judgment from it.
Yeah.
Is that, and I don't know, this was a thing that occurred to me when they first announced it. Crystal Dynamics is not exactly a like knock it out of the park. Every single game they've made has been super good developer, right? So like the Rise of the Tomb Raider, or the first one of those. This is Rise, right? Rise of the Tomb Raider?
Yeah.
Was pretty good. I never really played any of the rest of them because I've been Lara Crofted out for a decade now. So the question really comes down to A, how good is the combat, and B, how good is the writing? Like, you know, the CGI cutscene or the setup cutscene that we saw seemed relatively generic, but the question is, are they going to be writing their own stories? If it's not an MCU tie-in, you know, we saw the Abomination in one. Is that the Hulk campaign is going to be about the Hulk versus the Abomination? How many characters are we looking at? Like, what kind of release schedule are we looking at? You know, I don't know. I want to just keep saying this, right, over the course of this entire thing, and as a reminder to everybody, I want to like these games, right? Like, it's just that there's a lot of warning flares going off about live service, Crystal Dynamics, and the character models are a little in the face, you know, type of thing. Yeah. So, I don't know. That was supposed to be like, I guess, their big finish, and I guess it left me just...
It left a lot of people... yeah, like I think, what was it, Michael even posted like immediately afterwards, like, wow, I was super hyped for that game, and then I saw what they announced, and I am not hyped anymore.
Again,
this is the first time in a long time that literally seeing the game has made me not hyped for it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe a big, like, the other thing that we have to remember is that in the next few months, maybe, hopefully, maybe, we may be getting some of the behind closed doors demos come out as well, right? Like I know that Cyberpunk had like a 50-minute gameplay demo this year. And last year they released the gameplay demo, right? It was like 2 months after E3 where they put
a video of people playing it.
No. They had, last year at E3, that Cyberpunk footage wasn't at E3. It was like a month later that they put that on YouTube.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get to see that. Maybe we'll get to see
You're not talking about like a demo as in like something that we can play. You're talking about just a video of that demo.
Yeah. The behind closed doors demo from E3, essentially. So maybe we'll see some more of this. I don't know. I want to like every game, and this is Rage Select. You know what? I'm gonna go out even further. Even if I wasn't playing on Rage Select, I would probably look at this game when it came out, and unless it looked like total shit, I'd probably try it out and buy it, and maybe buy it if I liked it. So. Now, Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII, Avengers, and a bunch of remakes and remasters and re-releases and kind of things that don't care about. Games that are already out, games that everybody knows about already, in between. It was pretty snappy. The audience seemed to really enjoy themselves.
Yes, no, they did.
Unlike having the one front row of developers, this one seemed like literally all the people that were in there seemed to really be enjoying themselves. So I don't know. Let us know in the comments what's your favorite part of Square Enix show that wasn't Final Fantasy VII was, and
or if it was Final Fantasy VII, let us know that too.
Well, then it's just everybody will say Final Fantasy VII.
I don't care.
Okay.
I will say, if you were to ask me what was the best thing that they showed, I would actually probably say it's Final Fantasy VII.
Me too.
And that's after we spent however long we spent kind of talking about how disappointed and how we don't really care. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that was the best thing they showed.
It was the best looking game that they showed. It looked exciting. It's just there's a lot of strings attached. Again, we'll go back to what you said. If that was a new game, like if that was a new characters fighting a big mech and it was brand new universe, check it out, I think I would have been more excited than just knowing it's Final Fantasy VII. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're finally going to get to John's favorite part of E3.
Yes.
Nintendo. Stick around. Scary voice.
You know that old saying, never meet your heroes? Well, I did. And it was awesome. The Avengers were everything I imagined.
Hello, San Francisco!
And we're back for the last conference of E3, the Nintendo Direct for E3 2019. Welcome back, everybody. And a special guest.
We're joined by someone else.
A very special guest.
A new challenger approaches.
That's right. A wild Amanda has appeared.
Yay. I was hiding in the tall grass all along.
She walked in and we were just like, hey, you want to talk about Nintendo, Amanda?
Yeah.
So that way you
John
two...
sent me a text. It was just like, hey, we're talking about Nintendo. And you just heard the tires squeal like, you run upstairs.
It's like now you two could talk about how much you like Gooigi and I don't have to.
Yeah, Gooigi.
So before we start, we'll do the quick rundown. I mean, this is a pretty standard Nintendo Direct, right? Like, I don't think there was we didn't get any new hardware announcements.
No, I didn't think we would get any hardware.
I was pretty sure there was a story that said that we were specifically not going to be getting new hardware announcements.
It was the introduction of Bowser.
Oh, Doug Bowser. Well, actually, he was on. I was watching because they had a Super Mario Maker 2, Splatoon 2, and Smash Brothers tournament, and he would come out at the end of each one of those, like the day before this, to give out the trophies to the people. But
please recognize my face. Thank you. I am not Reggie. Thank you.
No Bayonetta, no Metroid Prime,
which means no
for, but we could trade that in for a few other things. So anyway, let's jump in. We started out with, I feel like this is really the year of Dragon Quest. I've been seeing Dragon Quest 11 just every goddamn place, including one of the new Smash Brothers fighters.
The hero comes to Smash Brothers.
That's right. The Luminary from Dragon Quest 11 is the newest Guy What Has Sword to be added to the huge-ass roster of guys what have swords in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and he's the reason he's not called the Luminary. He's just called the Hero,
Right.
Because he has Echo Fighters
Yeah.
of himself that are different Dragon Quest heroes.
Yeah, 4 different Dragon Quest protagonists. I recognize the one from, I believe it's like 8
Yeah.
or 9 with the guy with the yellow outfit. Now, do we know that all of these are... Because does anybody else have 3 different Echo Fighters? I thought it was always just like one person, then one Echo Fighter.
Typically, it's just 1 and 1, but
Okay. Actually, was it for Nintendo? I was just thinking that I saw...
now is it an actual Echo Fighter, like where it's a secondary character, or is it just where you change the costume?
I have absolutely no idea.
Because I think it's just you just change the costume.
You think it's just change the costume? I do too. I don't really know. I have no idea.
Looking my way, I have no clue.
It took me a while to figure out because then at the end there was this scene that had like just a gajillion characters from different Dragon Quest games, and I was like, wait, how many Dragon Quest characters are in this game? And I didn't realize that was the Ultimate Smash.
Yeah, it was
right?
the Ultimate Smash.
Where they all come in.
Yeah.
I feel like this was a thing. We had a leak. There was a data mine from this that already hinted that this was going to be one of the characters for the Fighter Pack 1 for Super Smash Brothers. I like there's a kind of interesting thing where we see them using like literally a little Dragon Quest, pull it up and choose what attack you want to do, like RPG thing at the bottom, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. You guys don't really... Do you even Smash Bro?
I mean, we have.
I mean, I can kick your ass, but besides that,
Ooh.
as Kirby, we've all seen it.
Yeah.
But besides that, no, I don't regularly. I'm not a regular Smash. I'm more of a like casual Smasher.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually played it since Joker came out.
Oh,
Even
okay.
then, I didn't play it until like it was been a while since I'd played it. Even
Did you
then.
play this through the campaign?
I did not get through all the campaign.
That's a long motherfucking
It's
campaign.
a lot of campaign.
But I don't know. I mean, this was, again, a thing that I feel like we already had hints that this was going to happen. And given how hard they've been pushing Dragon Quest XI, the Switch edition, this is not a huge
and
shock.
you know, we knew that they were going to have to announce something for Smash, and I'm glad that was the first thing, kind of like to
get it out of the way.
To get out of the way, let's build some excitement for one of the new characters, and then let's move on.
Because last year wasn't the E3 Direct when the back half of that whole E3 Direct was like the patch notes for Smash Brothers before it came out, where they were just like, we did this stage, we did this thing. So yeah, I don't know. I bought that season pass. I'll have it.
And then immediately it was followed up with Nintendo's.
With the actual Final Fantasy XI release date thing. I actually think I saw that there was even a controller.
Yes, there is a slime controller, which is not the first time they've released a slime controller, but it's essentially a Switch controller. It's the Pro controller, but it's in the shape of a slime.
Right.
And all the controls are on the butt.
Yeah, so you take the slime and you pick it up and then you just hold it in your hands and everything's on the bottom.
Just rub its butt to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't want to play that game.
Just twiddle its butt. Twiddle that butt. And
I feel like we've played that game. It's on Pornhub. Go ahead and check the links.
Yeah. Right. So that's all pretty stock standard. We kind of knew all of that was going on. Then we had the introduction of Bowser,
which I love the fact that they actually did have Bowser come out and then like start like talking, but it's in Bowser talk. He's like, and then they're like, no, wrong Bowser.
And then Doug Bowser comes out. He's like, not you, it's me. I'm the real Bowser.
Why did real Bowser come out with a tie and then Doug Bowser come out without a tie?
That's how you tell them apart.
Did he steal the tie?
I think that Doug Bowser, they're
no, that's how you tell them apart. It's like frogs
they look
and bears.
exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're both not wearing. Yeah.
It's like frogs and bears. One wears a hat, the other doesn't.
Yeah. So then Bowser leaves. Bowser's very confused about where he is or what's going on.
Same Bowser.
I kind of wish that Doug Bowser and Bowser had co-hosted the Nintendo Direct.
Well, what I will say I love, and I'm really hoping is something that becomes a permanent thing because every person for Nintendo kind of has their
the thing. Yeah.
Doug Bowser, every time he's appeared, he says dad jokes.
Yes.
Like constantly.
And
I'm really hoping that's his thing.
Just from now on, Nintendo is the land of dad jokes.
Horrible joke.
I'll tell you what, he's still better than that robot man that they used to have. You remember that? Like that was like that blonde guy with the glasses or whatever would just come out and be like, "Next up on
my
blood,
God, yeah.
yeah, but whoop dab jab jab."
Like, what if we made video games, but they were really boring to talk about?
Yep. So from there we get Amanda and John's game of the show.
Yeah.
Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah. You know what's great about this? They're incorporating some aspects of the Ghostbusters the video game gameplay into Luigi's Mansion.
How so?
The slam.
Oh, okay.
That's a function from the Ghostbusters video game where you got to slam the ghost into the ground.
Yeah,
okay.
Smash him in the ground.
All right.
And then they added it to Luigi's Mansion 3.
I kind of like the big weird hotel that it takes place in, like as opposed to an actual mansion. This kind of funky stylized hotel that it's in.
Yeah, I'm hoping that because playing the Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS, it was a bit repetitive because it's just one mansion and you keep going back and forth in the same building. I think you get like a second building to go to or something, but like real boring. A hotel sounds fun because you can go through a bunch of floors and you have a bunch more rooms to go through.
Yeah, and if you watch, I mean, there's different like level types in this as well. Like outside of hotel rooms and stuff, like there's a theater at one point, and there's like a coliseum,
a boiler room, I think.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
As somebody who hasn't really played Luigi's Mansion, you guys can tell me how different does the gameplay look here than it was in original Luigi's Mansion?
I mean, they've added some new mechanics, like the thing with the plunger and the suction shot, as it's called. Like that's new.
Okay, all right.
Also, slamming ghosts in the ground is new. Previously, it was just you hit them with light and then you suck them into the vacuum.
So it was pretty basic.
Yeah, it was really standard. But yeah, so they've definitely added a lot of more new things.
Okay, well, speaking of the new things that they've added, let's talk about
Gooigi.
There's a weird ectoplasmic version of Luigi. As if one Luigi wasn't bad enough.
I need more Luigi.
Now there's two Luigi, and one of them is made out of goop. He's a goop man. And apparently Luigi could put his consciousness in there or something.
I don't know. It's kind of creepy to look at him.
His body just stands there.
Yeah, like one goes limp and the other one is fine.
If you're single player, you just transfer, like you switch between the two. But if you're playing multiplayer, one player plays as Gooigi.
Right.
And then they also talked about that Gooigi does have one weakness, which is water.
Yeah. So I feel like, Amanda, you are the world's biggest Gooigi fan at this point.
100%. I see Gooigi. I like Gooigi. I'm down for some Gooigi.
Feel with the goo.
I like sticky. He's made of sticky goop.
I mean, the one thing that you have to say about Nintendo is that they had me. I've now said the word Gooigi like at least a couple of dozen times.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird thing. That's a weird freaking thing.
Funny, it doesn't feel weird to me.
Well, yeesh. Also, they talked about the Scare Scraper, which is going to be a mode, like a multiplayer kind of attack mode.
Look how many Gooigis were there.
Where it's like a bunch of different people and a bunch of different Luigis.
Multiplayer where you're going in, saving a bunch of toads.
There's like a time limit on it. You've got a certain amount of time. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I've always said that whether a Nintendo game appeals to me or not has nothing to do with whatsoever with the quality of the video game, right?
Yeah.
Like, I may not like, I don't know, Yoshi, right? I may not like Yoshi, but Yoshi's games are exceptionally well-made games. It's just the fact that I'm not a big fan of Yoshi. And they got to do something every year that Jeff isn't a big fan of. So, for Luigi's Mansion.
Sometimes multiple things.
Sometimes multiple things, yeah. I don't know. This actually looks more engaging than the original Luigi's Mansion. Like, the original Luigi's Mansion looked very bog standard to me, and I like that there appears to be a lot of, like, diversity to just what I'm seeing here as far as the gameplay and the different environments and different modes and Gooigi and suction cups and, the blast mode, and Luigi's just scared the whole time, so...
But he's so brave. He's scared and he's doing it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that the reason?
It's not bravery if you're not afraid of it.
And And that's coming out in 2019.
Yeah, no release date, which I thought was interesting.
Halloween. I guess October-ish.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is sometime around September 1st because that's my birthday.
There
then
you
can
go.
just buy me Gooigi's Lantern for my birthday.
If there was a version that was just called Gooigi's
Luigi's
Mansion.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if there's like one of those little things where you take the card out, you turn it around on the
And it
game
says
box?
Gooigi?
and it's Gooigi
Yeah. Hi, welcome to me. This is me. Yes.
All right, Nintendo. I know you're listening, so let's make it happen. From there, a truly what the fuck moment. We got a trailer for that Dark Crystal Netflix show is going to have a tactics-based game on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
We knew that Netflix had said that they were going to try to branch out into more things. I think one of the podcasts was speculating wildly about like what that could be. Mm-hmm. I would not have guessed. Well, it wasn't announced yet, but I still would not have guessed Dark Crystal.
Yeah,
Dark Crystal
I was.
game.
So when the trailer starts off, it says Netflix, and it's very clearly Dark Crystal. The entire time I'm thinking, are they announcing that they're adding Netflix to the Switch?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. You can play it, but you can't watch it, motherfuckers.
But the interesting thing is, I did because they showed this on the Treehouse. They did state that the beginning of the first half of the game is the series, and then it actually goes past the series.
Okay.
So spoilers for the series then?
Well, it's not coming out until after the series is out.
Okay. I mean, it looks like a perfectly functional tactics game. It's a bit sparse. Like when I look at the stuff, like the characters look decent. Mm-hmm. The world just looks like a bunch of blocks. Like it doesn't.
I'm wondering if that's just one level that they're showing.
Yeah, it's very like zoomed in.
I'm hoping that it's just one level that they're showing. Not that I'm going to be playing any kind of tactics-based game.
That's more my speed.
Okay.
Mine is Gooigi.
How many times?
Cannot emphasize that enough.
Do not take a shot every time Amanda says Gooigi. You will die. You will die.
You're welcome.
Speaking of remakes, no. Okay, whatever. Zelda is a thing. We saw the trailer for Link's Awakening, or we saw the announcement of Link's Awakening, I believe, last year at E3. And I don't think we've seen anything of it since then,
no, this
right?
is kind of like the most we've seen since.
And so we got a big trailer for it. It looks
adorable,
pretty freaking great. Like I saw like a meme online where it was like when Skyward Sword, no, which one was the cell shaded one? Wind Waker was announced, and everybody's like, Link looks so cute. And then it was like a shot of him when he's fishing here. It's like, yay, Link looks so cute.
I'm into it. I love it. I like the adorableness. This will be the first Legend of Zelda game I ever play.
Okay.
Because it's so fucking cute.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a remake of a
Game
GBA
Boy
game.
Yeah. Game Boy game. And what's funny is there's a collector's edition that comes with a steel book that looks like a Game Boy with the
that's cool. I do think that it's and so one of the biggest things here is that this game has like Goombas and Chain Chomps and like Mario stuff in it, as opposed to just being straight up Zelda. But then they also announced another thing, this make your own dungeon mode, which basically like will give you a shape that then you have to fit together rooms that make an actual dungeon, and then you can play that, or you can share it online with other people. I actually was watching the Treehouse when they had one of the guys had made one, and then they had the head dev for this on, and they were like, how fast can you do it? He just like trashed the guy's score. It's like, I've developed Zelda, motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about? But this seems like a kind of an interesting little, I don't know, just a little add-on thing that wasn't in the original. Who knows? Maybe next year we'll have like championship. How fast can you go through somebody's Zelda level thing?
Well, I mean, Mario Maker's been great. Maybe they'll do Legend of Zelda Maker.
Zelda Maker?
Dungeon Maker, whatever you call it. Next. Like, this is just the testing the waters of it, and if people like it.
I don't know. Between this and that Cadence of Hyrule game, there's a lot of making a kind of like weird Zelda shit going on. So
I'm down
I'm
for
for
some weird Zelda shit.
Who can say? September 20th is when this is coming out, which is good because November is already full.
November's booked up.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Pokemon's in November, but so is Death Stranding. So, it's making me choose between games.
I don't know which one I'd choose.
I'd
Choosy moms choose Jeff.
I don't know why I'm pretending I'm not actually choosing Death Stranding.
Death Stranding chose Jeff.
This was interesting. I was kind of surprised they didn't actually announce this at the Square Enix conference. So I didn't actually realize this, but okay, so Final Fantasy Tactics and then Secret of Mana are in the same universe, and then the next game in that franchise is Seiken Deketsu 3, which is technically Secret of Mana 3, and they're remaking Secret of Mana 3. It was never actually released in the United States.
Yeah.
So they're remaking it as a full 3D game with, I mean, it looks very pretty, like very nice graphics. Like I kind of like it's kind of like a little bit like Dragon Quest, but not entirely. And I've always liked those particular games. So the idea of taking a JRPG that never got a Western release. I mean,
and they're calling it Trials of Mana?
Yeah, Trials of Mana is what or Trials of Mana Remake is what it's technically being called. Or no, just Trials of Mana. But then in addition to that, they also announced the Collection of Mana, which is the GBA game, the SNES game, and then the original Seiken Deketsu 3 from the Super NES with an English translation out in the West officially for the first time, which I played a little bit of, and I think I might be playing it for the Sunday stream, but it seemed a lot like a Secret of Mana. I like Secret of Mana a lot. Like that's one of my. I remember playing that when I was a kid. It was a really interesting game. What's interesting though is that they remade Secret of Mana.
Yes.
And I remember watching them where they were talking about the Trials of Mana remaster and how they took a lot of the feedback that they got because people didn't like the voices as much, or there was all these things that were kind of a little boo-tastic about the Secret of Mana remake. So I'm glad that they're taking all that into consideration because I like that franchise a lot. Now remake Chrono Trigger, please.
Maybe.
Please.
I'd play that.
Next E3.
Yep. The Witcher 3.
Yeah, that was kind of the most like, wait, what? moment for me.
Yeah, is going to be on the Switch. I have yet to look at direct footage that's not from a trailer, but it obviously is going to have some kind of graphical downgrade. Like
there's been some places that have actually done comparisons of screenshots that have been released.
Yeah.
To actual gameplay of the PC and the PS4 versions.
Right. It's not. I mean, it's not definitely not like the full resolution version of The Witcher 3. But again, I mean, it's kind of like Skyrim, where The Witcher 3 is such a huge ass long game that being able to have it on a portable console is a really big get. Yeah. Especially if it has all the DLC, because the game is like fucking 60 hours long, and then there's a DLC that's like 10 hours long and another DLC that's like 30 hours long. So it's a ridiculous amount of video game.
I feel like it'd be weird to complain about the resolution if you're buying it for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I feel like you know what you're signing up for. You're like, oh, The Witcher 3 look amazing on this. It's like, you got a Nintendo Switch. Do you notice that all Nintendo games are like cutesy because it's easier to show without like stark
and then people
realism?
are like, so does this mean Cyberpunk's coming to the Switch?
Maybe
in 2077.
Yeah. From there, we got the one release that I am unequivocally excited for. I am without reservation or doubt super excited for Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, you like Fire Emblem games, Jeff? I didn't even know.
No, I don't. What's Fire? I've never played it before. Yes, I like Fire Emblem games, but I haven't ever finished any of the recent ones because they're all on a 3DS, and I want to be hunched over a handheld for fucking 600 hours.
Not like the Switch, which is totally not like having a handheld.
Yeah, I have always wanted to play the Fire Emblem games because of how good I've always heard they are, but I've never actually played one.
Yep. I watched
because
they're on the 3DS.
I watched a lot of this at the Treehouse, and it looks really interesting because it seems like the first part of the game is going to be you as a teacher at like a war college with all these different students from the different three different lands, and then you kind of get everybody together and you're training them, and then there's going to be something big that happens, and then years later I think you're probably going to be going to war, but you're going to be allied with one of the 3 factions, which the last game had, if I'm not mistaken. No, the last one was the remake of the first one, but the one before that was the one where there were actually 2 entirely separate campaigns, one for the light side and one for the dark side, that you could play through.
Do you pick, or do you literally just jump between them?
No, you pick. You pick one and play it all the way to the end, and then you can go play the other one all the way to the end. Like the dark side is technically hard mode because it's harder, but it's got more detail about like the bad guys.
Be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Is that why? Is that the lesson we're learning?
Yes. Yes.
But it comes out July 26th.
Yes. Yes. Next month. I cannot wait. Like I was really, really excited for this. All the what I really could say that I really like about Nintendo is that unlike every other company, I like the fact that Nintendo does this direct, and then just about every single one of these games got about an hour and a half on the Treehouse over the course of the days. So
also, Nintendo has a bad knack for this Nintendo Direct that almost every game is announced to be coming out within the next like 3-4 months. And I'm trying to save money.
Damn it, Nintendo! Won't you think of John's wallet? Come on!
No,
You're gonna be an asshole.
I got a vacation to plan. Galaxy's Edge, motherfucker.
Well, you know, that's that Star Wars place, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Right. From there, we moved over to one of these like question marks above my head trailers where it's kids and they go to a house, an abandoned house, and set up a Switch so they can play Resident Evil in a spooky abandoned house.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
I will
forgot
say
about
this
that.
was weird because they're playing Resident Evil, like the remake of Resident Evil, which is already out and it's been out on the Switch for a while now.
Right.
And I'm like,
Wait, has
what?
it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's digital only.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's been out for a while now. And then it turns out this leads into them announcing
5 and 6.
5 and 6 coming to the Switch.
Which, I mean, like, is not a huge surprise. I mean, is RE4 is already on there, right?
Yes.
Revelations Collection is on there.
The Revelations collection, the Origins collection, and then 4, and then
5 and 6.
yeah.
So
I'm super into the idea of playing Resident Evil in a
spooky house
abandoned house
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, you know what?
Flipping out the whole time. Like,
Jason Murphy and Brian Brushwood will probably have
Yeah,
a way.
that's true.
They've got a spooky abandoned house that
But
you can go to.
because it's me, it'd be like spooky, scary house. Luigi's Mansion. I'm like, guys, it's too spooky.
It's like a Nintendo Direct where you start playing Resident Evil 5 and then you just eject it and put it in Luigi's Mansion and you're like,
Gooigi saved me.
nope. Yeah. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6. They're like, do you want to play Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6? You can, because they're just on every single platform that's ever been created.
So now they have 0, 1, 4, 5, and 6.
Because
2 did not get released on the Switch,
right,
and
graphical
3
fidelity.
is not been remastered.
If you're in
because-
Japan, you can stream 7, right? They have the streaming version of 7. So yeah,
they're so close to having the whole shebang.
so to get 3 and Code Veronica. I can't forget about Code Veronica. I still want them to announce Resident Evil 8. Like, I enjoyed Resident Evil 7 so much.
Yeah.
And this was the year to buffer with RE2 remake. So RE3 remake or 8. One of those two. I don't really give a shit which one.
Agreed.
All right. From that, we move on to No More Heroes 3.
Yeah!
John, can you explain to me what the fuck is going on in this trailer with this guy with the neck brace who is...
I cannot.
So the guy in the neck brace is Travis Touchdown.
Okay, why is he even neck brace
Because
on?
because you know there was Travis Strikes Again. It's like years after that. And
Why does he look
beat
different?
Up. Because he hasn't shaved. He's been in a house bored with nothing to do,
Okay.
and then aliens invade, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he says Henshin, and then
What?
turns into like fucking flying mech guy, and then like comes out and he's back to his normal self, and he's ready to do stuff because he's cool ass badass.
What's Henshin?
Henshin means change.
Okay. All right.
It's what common writers in Japan yell when they change. They go henshin, and then they.
It's like yeah. John also yells that when he changes from his pajamas to his work clothes.
Yes. I always hope that it happens instantaneously, like it does on TV, but it doesn't. I have to actually.
You have to stop.
And then when he changes from his work clothes to his pajamas, he yells "Shajamies."
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of Shazam, but it works.
I realized while I was watching this trailer that I don't like, or not that I think No More Heroes is a bad franchise, but that I've never played any of them except for Travis Strikes Again, which was kind of like.
I kind of wish they would remaster or re-release No More Heroes, but the problem 1 and 2. But the problem is with that is I think the Suda has said that that he doesn't want to release them without motion controls.
The Switch has did they re-release No More Heroes 1, didn't they? Didn't they put out a No More Heroes re-release at some point?
I think it was on the PS3 and the Xbox at some point, but I think it was like it still had like weird controls.
Oh, okay.
Like I think the PS3 one had the Move controllers.
Well, according to this, it says Wii, and that's it.
Or No More Heroes 2, maybe.
Probably No More Heroes 2. Yeah, I guess that's the thing is that I didn't have a Switch when No More Heroes came out.
Well, you mean a Wii?
Wii. Yeah.
Well, you definitely didn't have a Switch when No More Heroes came out.
Oh, I had a Switch. I didn't have a Wii when No More Heroes came out, so I never played it. And then I feel like the people that like No More Heroes are just like, this game is awesome, and I'm like, all right, I'd like to experience that, except I don't want to go back and play a Wii game, and that the latest one was kind of like, like I'm more of a Killer is Dead and Killer 7 kind of Suda 51 fan. But Killer 8, come on, guys.
No.
You're needy. What about Lollipop Chainsaw 2? Huh? You ever think about that?
Nope, but I'd be totally down to say yes to that as well. So
that was like the only loading bar review I was ever on.
I would be willing to do Shadows of the Damned 2 as well.
Yeah.
You can check out to my big boner.
Somebody please isolate that. That'll be everyone's ringtone.
Yeah. So, but you're excited? You're a fan of the No More Heroes?
I'm very excited for
franchise?
No More Heroes 3, yes.
Did you play the last one?
Yes, I played the Travis Strikes Again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it what I played of it seemed like it was okay.
It was okay. Like I'll admit it's very repetitive. I wish it was better, but I got what he was trying to do with it, and it was meant to be a smaller game, whereas No More Heroes tend to be much bigger games.
All right.
With more, and apparently you can play it. He said that you will be able to play it, just connected to the controller, docked, or not just docked, but with the controllers on the side of the Switch and with just controls. But if you want the true No More Heroes experience, it will have where you hold each controller individually and have to do all the motion controls. So to charge up your lightsaber, you have to actually jerk it.
No, thank you.
Because he thinks that's hilarious. That's
Oh, Suda 51.
You give him an opportunity to make people make the jerking off motion. He's going to make you make that jerking off motion.
And Nintendo will sell you the console to do it.
Yep.
Right. So, moving on, another kind of inexplicable thing. There's a new Contra game. Contra Rogue Corp. Which has a giant panda and then like an alien, a bug
guy.
And some crazy looking people. It's very strange looking. Like I don't know what I expected out of Contra. I mean, it's because I just played the Contra collection with Amanda, but like,
I'm guessing it's just that same fucking level over and over again, like when we played Contra.
Well, that had more to do with the fact that I'm bad apparently at Contra. I don't know. Contra isn't exactly a game that just like gets me up in the morning, right? Oh shit, new Contra, what?
Yeah.
It's more a game like, I don't know, if it gets reviewed well, maybe I'll give it a shot, but on
Rage Select, sure.
I'd play whatever.
And it's in September, so it's like perfect because nothing's going to come out until November.
Right.
Everything's coming out.
Everything comes
later.
out in September.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. Some things.
Also,
November is the big heavy one, right?
The Contra Anniversary collection came out. So
we played.
Yeah. It's the third Konami cash grab game pack thing that they put out.
I ain't even mad at it.
Yeah.
Cash grab all you want. You put it all together. You give it to me. Make it convenient.
From there, I'm kind of surprised that Demon X Machina isn't out yet. It does come out in September 13th.
Okay, you're right. September is kind of loaded too.
But yeah, this was it looks like more of the game that we played the demo for a while back, right? With Red.
Yeah, with Red.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about Red.
It's a good sign.
Like, what are you talking about? Then I was like, oh no.
Good sign when your co-host on Rage, I can't remember that you already played this game once before.
You see one mech game, you've seen them all, right?
Yeah. I don't know. The demo was like a little weird, but I felt like that was because we were jumping between story missions with no context.
Because we were fucking around with it.
Well, there was that too. I'm still kind of interested to try out the full thing when it comes out because I'm a bit of a sucker for big mechs.
Well, I mean, the story seemed a little choppy because of how like we were playing it, but like the gameplay seemed fun. Like we were definitely into it the whole time. So
I was having fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you feeling, John?
I didn't play it, so
how
I
do you
don't
feel,
know.
John?
Yeah.
How do you feel
Yeah.
emotionally?
Are you interested?
I mean, I'd play it if it was loaned to me or something.
If Jeff were to hand it on over.
Well, so what do you think about it, John? I wouldn't throw it on the ground. I mean,
I'd play it.
if you handed it to me, I wouldn't slap you upside the face for trying to give it to me. But, you know. From there, we talked, we had a little bit to say about... no, I went way too far forward in my trailer. Panzer Dragoon. We had a trailer for Panzer Dragoon. Matt and I were talking about this the other day. I don't know that people remember how boring of a game Panzer Dragoon is. Or at least I played it when it was on the Saturn, and I remember it being an incredibly boring rail shooter.
Yeah. Does no one remember the Panzer Dragoon game that was on the Xbox?
Or that one with all the horrible microtransactions,
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon Crimson. I think we knew that this was being remade. And I mean, like, the graphics or anything don't look bad. It's just Panzer Dragoon is a rail shooter with a kind of weird story where it's like a kid with a laser blaster on the back of a dragon kills like an entire invading army or something like that.
As you do.
As you do.
Yeah. I don't know. It
As
just,
was foretold.
it doesn't do anything. It doesn't get my juices juicy.
There's some people that were actually kind of excited about it, so, you know.
Yeah.
Does it make your juices gooigi?
No. Makes them dry up. My juices are dry.
You should do something about that. Maybe see a doctor.
From there, we talked a little bit about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Which one you want, Jeff? The
That-
cute monkey one, or the bunny one, or
Does
the
it-
toady-looking dude?
Does it matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it matters.
It says who you are as a person.
Go ahead, pick one.
I don't care. Spin the wheel. Random. Sheep. I'll take sheep.
Everyone wants sheep.
Or giant ass Raichu with the poop clouds over his head. This is, I mean, you know, we had a whole Nintendo Direct about Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's not a lot more. Oh no, there is. You can't use the Pokemon controller from
Go.
Eevee and
Let's
Let's Go. To play the game, but you can put your Pokemon from the game into the controller and take them on a walk and then bring them back and, I don't know, get
Something
a bonus.
special happens.
Yeah, he said something mysterious will happen.
Yeah.
I think they turn to shinies.
What's that? Oh,
I think it changes their color scheme or something.
okay.
I mean, because if it's just, and they level up, it's like, why wouldn't you just say, and then they level up? Something special has to happen to them.
I don't know. They had a demo there. We got a new gym leader, the water gym leader lady, Nessa. In this,
The Raging Wave.
Yep. She's challenged you to get challenged gym leader. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say about this, mostly because we had a full 30-minute Nintendo Direct about Pokemon. So it's coming out in November.
Hype.
And, yeah. Another game that I wanted to see a lot more of, Astral Chain was up next, which is the new Platinum Games game where you play as like a weird future cop with like a robot monster that's chained to you.
So I actually did get to see a lot of this during the Treehouse.
Oh, okay.
They showed this quite often, actually. So what it is that there's another realm that's basically opening up portals and monsters are coming out. Hold on a second. There's another realm in which monsters are coming out and attacking Earth. And
Okay.
and they're basically, people are disappearing. And they've created a device that will allow a military person to chain the monster to them. So what you're controlling is essentially one of those monsters from that world.
So do you capture the different monsters?
I don't
like
know.
A Pokemon type of thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think
seems
you're
like from
just
the trailer that was a thing, or maybe that was just a scripted part.
Yeah, I don't know, but essentially you're controlling the monster and yourself, and like I thought it was really cool because you can also like you can do a thing where you're attacking a monster and you can send the other monster that you control around it so that the chain like gets like the monster
wraps
gets tight,
around it.
wraps around him, and then you use it to do like an attack that'll instant kill or whatever.
Okay.
Or throw the monster. It looks really cool, and so I actually think it looks interesting.
Well, the thing is that it looks like a Bug Nuts Platinum game, and Platinum I feel like does best when they're just allowed to go completely crazy and do whatever the fuck they want to.
Yeah.
That's how we get Vanquish. That's how we get Bayonetta. That was not how we got, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Korra and all the stuff that was not the best. But so I have a lot of faith in Platinum when you give them free reign to do the crazy that they do so well. And this definitely seems like the crazy that Platinum does so well. I mean, what are they? They're like demon cops, right?
Yeah.
Demon cop.
August 30th.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
But I'm super, super interested in that because I don't know. Are they making anything else right now? Do we have
Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3. That's right. That's right. It's probably why there isn't a Nier 2, right?
Probably.
'Cause there's so much of this going on. From there, this is a truly bizarre thing. The Empire of Sin, ladies and gentlemen.
John Romero.
Not just John Romero, but based on a book about, it's like a retelling of the whiskey wars in New Orleans in the 1930s. And yeah, John Romero's making it. It's like a top-down.
It's also, if I'm not mistaken, either his wife or his daughter or somebody else with the last name of Romero is also like heading up the game.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's more than one Romero.
Yeah, well, if he's married, yeah.
Oh god.
But this is like the game. He's like, oh, this is the game that she's wanted to make for the last 15 years. Which I want to say it's his wife.
It's interesting. It looks interesting. I mean, I'm a big fan of that genre.
Yeah, and I like the music era, and
yeah, XCOM in the 1920s.
Yeah,
so.
and that sounds awesome.
I'm just trying to think of what the last game that John Romero made was.
There was a level of the original Doom that he released.
Oh, not that. Like a real for reals game. like a
full on.
Like a full on game.
It wasn't Daikatana, was it?
Games. Here we go. Games. Gunman Taco Truck in 2017. No, literally. From Romero Games Limited. He also made a game called July 4th, 1976 in 2017 that was published by somebody called Play Barf. What the fuck am I reading? Warp Cop 3 in 2017 was indie published.
Why have we not played any of these?
Grom
They sound
Skate
awesome.
from Grom Social. Dangerous Dave in the Deserted Pirates Hideout in 2015. Techno Dash in 2014. Play Gigit. Dodger Down. Pettington Park. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Commander. Is that
I
a
think
phone game?
Having a stroke right now, just saying random words.
Wow. I gotta go find out what Gunman Taco Truck is,
Yeah,
you guys.
for sure.
We have to find that out immediately.
Is that like a VR game? Did we play that? No, that wasn't.
No, it wasn't called. I know which game you're talking about. It wasn't called Gunman Taco Truck. No, it's a Steam game with positive reviews where you've got a taco truck, and also it's like some kind of shooter. Oh, we have to play this. We have to play this at some point.
Adding that to the list.
Mm-hmm. In honor of Empire of Sin, we're going to play John Romero's last game, Gunman Taco Truck, here on Rage Select. All right, from there we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. This was kind of bound to be a thing.
Yeah, they showed some villains that are in the game that weren't previously shown, and they did a lot of on their treehouse. They showed a lot of gameplay footage. It looks like Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm for it.
Yeah, there was a part in the treehouse one I think that I watched where they're attacking the X Mansion, and Deadpool doesn't get involved until they fuck up his tacos that he's making, and then he comes out. I mean, these the Ultimate Alliance games have always just kind of been what? They're like a Marvel fan service game, right? It's just like pick your favorite guy and you're gonna level them up.
You make them team together.
Yeah. So
you get bonuses if they are similar team status. So in other words, like if you get members of the X-Men, multiple members of the X-Men on your team, then you'll have an X-Men bonus that gives them all the X-Men additional powers or whatnot, additional like strength or like whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or Avengers or Guardians or whatnot. And
Fantastic
also
Four.
apparently
The
the
fun
longer
ones
you play with certain characters together, it also adds bonuses.
Huh.
Like, so in other words, if you play...
So you like make your own team, basically.
Yeah, and like they'll get their own bonuses, but then if you switch out, obviously it loses. Then they announce that there's going to be an expansion pass, which will feature content from Marvel Knights, X-Men, and Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. And that's coming out pretty soon?
It's a July.
Fall?
Yeah,
was
it's July.
It's July?
Like it's the
okay.
beginning of July. It's like July
okay.
14th or 17th or something like
Yeah.
that.
Next up, we had a trailer for Canes of Hyrule, the Crypt of the Necrodancer Zelda thing. I actually played the shit out of this game yesterday. By the time this comes out, Matt and I will have already played it for a dojo, but like I feel like this is one of those things where it's like the Dynasty Warriors games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where by itself, I don't know that I was interested in playing Crypt of the Necrodancer, but then when it was Crypt of the Necrodancer mixed with, Nintendo and Legend of Zelda, it suddenly got a lot more awesome. So there was a weird turning point where at the beginning I was having a really hard time with it, and then it suddenly just turned really easy once I finally got enough hearts to be able to just kind of bully the game. But
I was like, once you found the rhythm,
yep,
did it take you a while to catch the rhythm, Jeff?
it eventually got me. I mean,
We all know
eventually got
Jeff
me.
doesn't have rhythm.
That's very true. You see me dance.
Hey,
This is not a surprise.
I have not. I have looked away every time.
But that's already out. By the time you hear this, Canes of Hyrule, I mean, by the time we're recording this, it's already out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was so happy because it was throughout this entire E3, I'd be like, July 24th. Oh, fuck, July. We're in June right now. And then this one came up and I was like, June? And then I looked it up.
Don't you fucking lie to me, Nintendo.
I literally looked at the date. I pulled up the Wikipedia page. I was like, are you sure? Yes. So, from there, my excitement dipped dramatically as we talked about the Olympics with Sonic and Mario.
So I do have some issues with this. Like I've actually heard these are actually fun games, and the fact that they're skateboarding. They fucking put Tony Hawk in
Hell
this.
yeah.
But my thing is, there's a track and field, and Sonic runs, and you. How does Sonic not win that mode? Just automatically, just equal win. Sonic's whole thing is he got to go fast.
Yeah.
And that he's super fast.
Yeah.
No one else is as fast as Sonic.
Nah.
I mean, it's not like he's going up against humans. He's going up
it's
against.
the equivalent of Sonic getting in a race car and driving.
I played that game.
I know you did.
It's called Sonic Team Racing.
I know you did.
I don't understand. I didn't understand it then, and I don't understand it now. I don't know.
I'm more confused.
None of these games are okay. That's like I don't really care that much about Sonic. I don't really care that much about the Olympics, and I don't care much about sports in general. So it's kind of like 3 strikes and bye.
That kind of looks fun, though.
You think so?
But it's got a lot of little
collection.
minigame collection. Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a fan of like the.
Well, it's coming out in November, so instead of playing Pokemon, you can play.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
That's the worst time in the world to put this game out.
Well, I
Like,
don't think it's gonna sell. I don't think
It'll
it'll
sell to
particularly
who
work.
it's supposed to sell
yeah,
to.
either that or it comes down to that thing where it's like the people that were. There's not going to be a person at a store going like, Death Stranding? Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Death Stranding?
No, what it's going to be
Mario and
is
Sonic at the Olympics.
I bought my kid a Nintendo Switch last year. It's time, it's November. It's time to start buying Christmas gifts.
Yep.
Oh, he likes both Mario and Sonic.
Yep.
This game has both of them.
Yep.
I will buy them for...
For little Timmy.
Damn you, little Timmy. You're always fucking up my Nintendo Direct with your Sonic the Hedgehog
I stopped
games.
paying attention to my child. Now is the time to make up for it with bullshit gifts.
From there, we go to Animal Crossing, which
Yay.
this isn't
It was
my
single, isolated. Yay.
favorite thing.
I've actually never really got into the Animal Crossing games.
It kind of goes to me as a similar thing to the Sims, where it's like
100% The Sims, but it's
just
cuter, and they're little animals, and there's life crippling debt.
Yep. Tom Nook.
That The Sims does not put you in, let me tell you.
So, you know what's funny? Nintendo actually did an interview where they actually said they wanted to speak about Tom Nook, and they feel like that fans have given Tom Nook a bit of a misunderstanding. Because at no point does he pester you about repaying your debt. He's just like, you'll pay me when you're ready.
Uh-huh.
Also, all the money that you pay him, he funnels back into the town.
Uh-huh.
So he's a good guy. Like, he's not like hounding you, like, you got to pay your debt. You got to pay your debt. Hey, you got to pay your debt. What are you going to pay me? You better pay me your debt or I'm going to break your legs. He never does that. He's just like, you pay me back when you can pay me back, bro.
I think Tom Nook needs a pretty big tax break so that he can funnel his money back into the animal trickle down Nookonomics over here in Animal Crossing.
You know, because also this land, it belongs to the animals. Tom Nook is an animal.
Yeah.
You're essentially paying to be able to use his land.
Anyway, I'm going to play this game.
I'm
going
not
to play the fuck out of this game.
Or I'm going to probably play it once, but I've never got hooked. Of course, then the other problem that I have is that the last time that there was a console Animal Crossing game, was that on the Wii U?
Probably.
Maybe?
I think so.
I think it was the 3DS.
Well, no, the console one. Like on an actual...
I think it was the GameCube.
No, there was one on the Wii, right?
Was there?
Wasn't there? Okay. Type it into Wikipedia quick. Let's see. So, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Oh, okay, yeah, New Leaf.
City Folk, Wild World. I don't know which ones these are on. City Folk was on...
City Folk was on the Wii, and then there was an Amiibo festival, Animal Crossing Amiibo festival. That was the Wii U game.
Oh, right. But
that wasn't a real Animal Crossing game.
Right.
You're not a real Animal Crossing game.
That's also true.
Yeah, I only yelled truths.
So, like, the last time that I would have had the ability to play Animal Crossing and not have to be hunched over a handheld was the Wii, and I didn't get a Wii until, like, the year before it was obsolete. So, this will also be maybe my first opportunity to sit on a couch and actually play the game as opposed to... I just don't want to play in handhelds. For
Animal Crossing, much like Sims, is one of those games where I will play it obsessively for, like... anywhere between a week and a month, and then I'll be like, all right, I guess I'm done for now, and then stop playing, and then when I try to go back, I'm like, I don't remember how to play this game, and then I just don't want to play it.
I remember I read a tweet that was exactly that. That was like, I play it, and then eventually 2 months later, I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And then I never play it again.
Same goes for Pokemon, but for some reason, that's more socially acceptable amongst gamers, so I do that more often.
All right. This was supposed to be coming out this year, and got pushed back to March 2020. And as I understand it, from an interview with Doug Bowser, they did that so that they wouldn't have to crunch on it and make their people
the good guys.
crazy.
Look at them.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Who
being
knew?
Good
Putting
people.
Bowser in charge would lead to good things.
Actually, Jim Sterling pointed out in the same video that I heard that from, that Nintendo's like one of the only companies where when their profits sink a little bit, the CEOs take pay cuts instead of just laying off a whole bunch of people. It's like, oh yeah.
And yet then they're also the most like consistent, I feel like. They're just a good company overall. Call like Nintendo, that's all I have to say.
Nintendo. All right, after that we got the obligatory montage of games coming out. I mean, most of this stuff I feel like we either already know or it's not
or they're games that were already released on other platforms.
Yeah, huge surprise, Spyro and Hollow Knight and Ni no Kuni and all this stuff. Minecraft Dungeons that we saw.
My friend Pedro.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff. We're not going to name every single one of these. I was though surprised to see Alien Isolation is coming to the Switch.
Wow.
I don't feel like I knew that before, and like I haven't thought about that game in like 2 or 3 years. So yeah, bunch of stuff is coming to the Switch. Then we got another Smash announcement.
Yeah, we bookended it.
Yep. We're talking about Smash. And King K. Rool and Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong look out the window, and there's a silhouette of a mammal with a bird. Who could it be? It's Duck Hunt.
That son of a bitch.
That's Duck Hunt.
Everyone hates that dog.
Dog's a fucking dick.
The dog and the bird, and then they just like coming up and laughing at, or no, doing the little laughing thing.
Yeah. And then from the skies comes someone who kicks him in the fucking head.
Yep, it's Banjo-Kazooie.
Are raring to go. Raring. No one gets me.
No, I get it. Again, maybe like a theme for this E3, that I'm not trying to like be a big old downer man, but I never played Banjo-Kazooie, so this is not. I'm not. It's like, oh shit. Damn, my favorite character is on the Switch.
And this might just be me and the people I know, but I haven't heard anybody particularly hyped about Banjo. Like, they're excited for new characters, but I haven't seen anybody like, yeah.
Well,
finally.
I think a lot of people are excited about it, mostly because of the fact that Banjo-Kazooie is owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
And it is, but it's, Rare has such a history with, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Banjo-Kazooie first debuted in Diddy Kong Racing, along with Conker.
Okay.
And
okay, sure, I can't tell you that's wrong.
So
Cool.
I mean that they have a connection to that franchise. So I mean, it's just nice that it happened.
Yeah, I it's fine. It's funny because I was thinking about it and I was like, Joker was such a character that I do like, and so I was very excited for Joker. And then, the Luminary or the hero from Dragon Quest and Banjo-Kazooie, both of those are kind of like characters. I'm like, yeah. But you know what? All 5 characters don't have to be. It's not like they're going to put out Hitman, Solaire, another version of Solid Snake,
Yeah.
Liquid Snake, right? Like
Raiden,
I mean, it's a nice spread of like different characters from different like genres and different like ages of like who would be into what.
I'm at least glad that Banjo-Kazooie isn't just another sword guy, because between Fire Emblem and the other one, the Xenoblade, there's a lot of sword guys in Smash.
I need another pink circle thing.
Yeah. There are only 2 pink circle things in gaming, and they're both in that game.
Yeah, I need more though.
Is Pac-Man?
No.
would you accept Spot from 7-Up?
The 7-Up cool spot?
100%, yeah. I'd be down for that.
Only if there's a Noid.
Hell yeah, dude! I would be the Noid in a fucking Smash Brothers game.
What are the Echo Fighter? There's a cool spot Noid.
And Chester Cheetah?
Yes, I would.
100%.
That would totally work.
I would sell out in a minute.
And so that was the end almost, because we got one more thing. And
Like any good press conference, there's one more thing.
Yeah, except this was like a very weird. It was a very somber kind of trailer.
Yes.
Breath of the Wild 2, what it says actually is like the sequel to Breath of the Wild is in development.
Yes.
They didn't say whether that's going to be Breath of the Wild 2 or something else. We see Link and Zelda kind of spelunking and looking at stuff. There's a lot of, Matt Frank could probably tell you a lot more about the lore of what's going on down here. I frankly forgot a lot about the lore of even Breath of the Wild. But the idea that this might be like the true Ganon, because in Breath of the Wild it was like the kind of spirit,
Calamity Ganon, yeah.
Calamity
so
Ganon.
the theory is that Ganon was split, like his spirit and his body were split in two, and Calamity Ganon, it was his spirit.
Yeah.
And that now, due to them spelunking or whatever they're doing, they find the actual remaining corpse of actual Ganon.
Okay.
And the running theory is that this trailer is actually not being played in order of events.
Okay.
And that something happens and Zelda like falls in a cave in, or falls like off an edge.
Okay.
And then Link goes to save her, and that hand that's holding Ganon down then releases Ganon to grab Link to save him.
Oh. Okay.
And to help save Zelda, and then that releases actual Ganon into the world.
Okay.
That's the theory. That's the running theory that's going on right now. There's been some speculation that you might be able to play as Link and Zelda in the game. Like there might be some co-op aspect to it. But
so it's definitely she got a short haircut now. Everybody likes that. I don't know. It's interesting because I was trying to think back to the last time that Nintendo put out a Zelda game and then made a direct sequel to that Zelda game, like right after it.
Wind Waker.
Was there a Wind Waker 2?
Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
Also, technically, Wind Waker is a sequel to Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but that's...
Majora's Mask also is a direct sequel.
Right. But that's like years apart from each other. I'm talking about like, here's one Zelda game, and then the next Zelda game is a direct sequel to the Zelda game that came right before.
Well, I'm just saying, the Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask is one that was pretty, quick to come out.
Right.
And then also, like I said, but Spirit Tracks was also a DS game, so it's
that
Wind Waker
DS games don't count.
I think Majora's Mask is the only one that I can really think of. Was the last one that happened.
There was also the what is it? It's Legend of Zelda Oracle and Seasons for the GBA.
Was that a sequel?
Well, Oracle and then Seasons was a sequel to.
Okay. I mean, I know there was
supposed to be a third one, but it got canceled.
There was a Link Between Worlds, was kind of was a sequel to Link to the Past. It's just I don't know. It's strange to me because I guess what I expect is when there's a Zelda game that I'm going to be waiting for 5 years for there to be another Zelda game, and when the next Zelda game comes, that it's just going to be a brand new thing that has no resemblance to the previous thing.
Yeah.
Now I was talking with Matt yesterday, and I can think of a number of different brainstorming things where if they do use the same world, because there's also a part of this trailer where you see Hyrule Castle taking off, and it looks an awful lot like the same world ish as
so the towers are gone.
Breath of the Wild. Yeah. But I can think of if you use that same geometry and then you do some maybe like I don't know, like use the fact that you've got a world to like remix that world, but then I don't know, maybe there's a dark world, or maybe we're doing a Majora's Mask time travel thing, or like something so that it's not just like a second quest but in the same world. I don't know. Or maybe they do that. Maybe Breath of the Wild sold so well and people enjoyed it so much that you're just going to be like, here's the sequel. Even though that's not generally been the MO of Zelda the franchise, at least as far as I can tell.
I mean, if they have a story that facilitates it, it could be.
Yep.
Because they're definitely...
And that's generally the reason that when they do this, that they do it. Like when they did it with Majora's Mask, it was because he had a story idea that he wanted to apply to it.
Yeah.
And this could be the same thing. They had a story idea that they wanted to apply, and they wanted to do more in this world.
Yep. Maybe so. I don't know. Want to see more? It was also interesting to me that it doesn't have a name, that it just came up with this text that said the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Because at first everyone was like, "Oh, is this a new expansion? Like, are they releasing like an add-on, another DLC pack?"
That's what I was hoping. But
that's because you wanted that sweet and it's out now.
I did. I love edits out now. It's not my fault that you guys started doing edits out now and then stopped. It's not my fault that I get excited.
You got me used to it and then you took it away like assholes.
Yeah. And that is E3 2019. Highs, lows, mids, Actually, no, I'm not going to take that back. This is an E3 that to me was kind of subdued. Like there were a couple of bright spots, We talked about Watch Dogs. Like even in this Nintendo one, there was a few things that I liked, and there was plenty of stuff that I was like.
Gooigi? Is Gooigi one of those?
No.
Gooigi's a pretty high spot.
High spot.
Not for
high spot of Gooigi.
Fire Emblem was a high spot.
Yeah, it made him Gooigi in his pants.
Oh no, my pants are dry like the desert.
Seriously, you should go see a doctor for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
paper.
what were the things that were most exciting to you guys about E3 this year?
I am very much looking forward to the Blair Witch game.
Okay.
I'm very looking forward to. I'm going to take all the good answers. I'm very looking forward to Ghostwire Tokyo. And then Luigi's Mansion. Like those are my three that I'm like super into. And then like Watch Dogs, I'm also really into the idea of collecting a bunch of grandmas and making a grandma gang.
Yep.
The Golden Girls.
The grandma squad.
Bring them on.
John, what about you?
Like I said earlier in one of the previous ones, Watch Dogs Legion is probably the highlight of my hype.
Okay.
Like that is like the number one thing I'm suddenly hyped for from E3. But there's definitely been some stuff. I feel like each press conference, with the exception of Square, had at least one thing that made me kind of go, I can't wait to play that at some point. Like Ghostwire Tokyo, like you said, Deathloop, everything we just talked about on Nintendo's press conference.
Yeah.
Like, and then unfortunately it's been so long since we recorded the podcast for Xbox. I can't remember everything that was announced for Xbox. Yeah,
there are a few things in there. Elden Ring, the 12 minutes. 12 minutes definitely looked good. I'm still kind of into Jedi Fallen Order. Like, that one just keeps coming up in my brain as a thing that I'm kind of excited about. I mean, obviously, you talk about Cyberpunk 2077, but like everybody's been excited for that for. I can only be excited for so long before it's just like, yes, no, I get it. What do you want from me? Do you want blood? Like, if there's a way for me to give you my blood, I would give you my blood if you would give me the game.
I can't because my veins are so dry.
From Devolver Digital, I'm really looking forward to Carry On.
Yes, Carry On looked amazing.
And then like My Friend Pedro, which comes out later next month or later this month, on the 20th, like
probably around the time that this podcast comes out, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean,
There's something.
There's stuff. I guess the question is, I just don't feel like there was a holy shit mic drop moment. Like, even Keanu coming out to tell us that Keanu Reeves is going to be in Cyberpunk 2077. It's like, you've already maxed out my excitement for that game. Great.
Yeah, but he's just a cyber ghost.
And then like, here's the release date. And I'm like happy to know that, but it's not exactly, if the release date was this year, that would have been a mic drop moment. If the release date was, if he said, and here's the release date, he put it at the screen and it just said right now, that would have been the greatest moment of all of E3 2019. But, I just don't know that there were that many drop in the mic moments. I mean, Scarlet should have been a bigger thing than it might have been, but it was just kind of tacked on to the end of the Microsoft conference. EA had jack shit to show outside of Star Wars and fucking Sims and Battlefield and whatever. I don't know. There were definitely bright spots, but there was a lot of humdrum to this year's E3, in my opinion, at least. I can't wait to actually see some of the behind closed doors demos that I've been hearing about.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say that with the exception of Square, but I also feel like Square is par for the course of Square. I feel like all the press conferences were good. Like, any other year, we would have been like, that was a good press conference. Like, that was not a terrible press conference. Like, that's for all of them. Maybe with the exception of EA, because that was not really a press conference.
I don't know. Bethesda's spent a long time talking about games I don't give two shits about.
Yeah,
Fallout, Elder Scrolls.
But I feel like any other year they would have. This would have been. I feel like we're being a little bit hard on Bethesda because of the year that they've had,
sure,
and how badly they've been fucking
Rightly
up.
so.
And then how hard they doubled down on all the shit they're fucking up.
Yep.
For this press conference, I feel like we're giving them a hard time, really, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, if this had been like, a press conference from like 2 years ago, it would have been like, it wasn't the best conference, but it's not bad. Like, this was a pretty acceptable year,
right?
Like, there was, like you said, there was nothing like so fucking out there crazy mic drop. Oh my god, this people won the E3 completely moment. But there was a lot of really good moments.
Yeah,
and I feel like everyone, even Square and EA, had moments that people can go back like, I thought this was really cool.
Yeah, like
I thought Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was cool. I thought, the Final Fantasy VII remake looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought, the Xbox Live Game Pass suddenly became more than worth the price.
Right.
And there's a lot of really cool games that are going to be on it that I wouldn't have tried out otherwise, but also look really cool.
Yeah.
There's, Tokyo Ghostwire or Ghostwire Tokyo, whatever it's called, looks really fucking cool. Same with Deathloop from what we saw of it.
Yeah.
Everybody had something.
They had something, yeah. The thing is that, and this is also
the summary of E3, they had stuff.
Is I feel like we've seen this happen before when we start to get towards the end of a console generation, and we're kind of in a holding pattern. Like, honestly, I think next year is going to be a banger, right? Because both Xbox and PlayStation got to come out with new consoles and new games for those new consoles to try to sell the console. So like that's the like price point, release date, check out these games that look 5 times as good as the last game that came out. I would expect at some point to be getting a Switch hardware refresh. Mm-hmm. At some point. Like, I don't know if it'd be next year, but like that would also be something that could be very interesting. And I feel like we've got a whole year to kind of look at like what happens with Stadia and xCloud and some of the streaming stuff that's out there. How does Game Pass on the PC shape up? Does it turn into a big thing? So I'm really, that's not to say that like, next year, but like I think that next year is going to be.
Here's a question.
Banging.
Do you think Sony's going to come back next year?
Yes.
Or do you think they're going to be like, no, it didn't hurt us last year, so we're not going to do it again this year?
No, I think that Sony didn't come this year because they didn't have games to show. I think that they Sony has been doing a good job of not just like slinging, like over the last year or so, when I think about it, okay, Spider-Man's like one of the best games I've ever played. It's just such a solid video game. And I feel like it wouldn't have done Sony any better to have like 5 okay games as much as just one really, really good game. We got Death Stranding coming out before the year is out, but we still don't have a release date for
Ghost of Tsushima or Last of Us 2.
So those games are still on the horizon. I just honestly feel like they looked around and said, we don't have enough first-party things to really, to rent out a church and get a guy to play the flute this year.
They didn't rent out a church. They built a church.
Oh, yeah. They built a church in a parking lot.
They built this city.
So I don't know. They may be back next year. But as always, this is just something that we've known for a long time. Increasingly, E3 is irrelevant because any company can just go to Twitch and do what they're doing at E3 at any time. They don't have to fight with somebody else. They can just, go live on Twitch.
Nintendo does it year round. They do directs all the time.
Yeah. Well, so does everybody else. I mean, we got the PlayStation stuff that comes out, and Xbox makes announcements, and then shit is out there all the time.
And I'll even go on and say, is to kind of further your point, is that if you actually look at it, what E3 was originally supposed to be, it was a trade show in which they would go to sell to companies. Like, it was not hey, let's see what new games we got coming out for all the fans out there who want to play new games. It was like, hey, Best Buy, these are the numbers that we're doing on previous stuff. This is the new thing we're doing, the new game we're selling. We need you to be hyped for it so that you can buy it and also know what it is so that you can then promote it to your consumers. And now, so you had people selling the games and consoles to other stores, to other people, to journalists, and it was a trade show, so that those people could go sell to you. But now they don't need that; the games sell themselves. They just literally just put a trailer online and be like, "Hey, here's a trailer for Death Stranding. It's coming out on this day," and 1 million people are going to be like, "I'm going to buy that."
Right? Yeah. I mean, it is a good way to get stuff seen, but in a lot of cases, I mean, I know there was a big demo for Control that happened that I haven't had a chance to see yet. In a lot of ways, sometimes you get bogged down with the fact that you've got Nintendo streaming all day, every day for every day of E3, along with Twitch streaming all day, along with IGN streaming all day, every day, along with this
GameSpot,
thing and that.
IG, or
along with the fact
Ubisoft,
that I was able
Devolver Digital
spend 5 days this week playing games that were released at E3. There's plenty of stuff that you could be doing that's not even watching E3, that's actually literally just playing stuff. So maybe Sony will come back. I get the feeling that they will, just because I feel like they want to do console announcement and get the big cheer and all that stuff. But that's next year. This year was good. And with that, we finish another marathon. Well, how many was it? 4 podcasts? 4 1-hour, 2-hour podcasts of E3. So enjoy your 8 hours of E3. You could have done something else.
Literally complained about 5 days straight of streams and just nonstop. Anyway, here's 8 more hours of us talking about it.
That's right. Gotta get them hits. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell. Go to your favorite podcast app. And don't forget about patreon.com/RageSlay. Join my Discord server for special updates.
He sounds sarcastic, but he desperately needs your money. Please give us all your money.
Really, on the Discord server, you get special updates about when he's drinking beer.
That's true.
What music he's listening to while he's drinking beer.
That's also true.
What game he's playing while drinking the beer and listening to music.
What he cooked in a crock pot today.
What he cooked it. Like, all this stuff happens on
I don't know
Discord.
if you update what you cook.
Instant Pot.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I actually let Michael borrow my crock pot. So.
It's never coming back.
It's fine. I wasn't using it. All right. So now that you've all been updated in my crock pot and you know everything about E3, say goodbye until next time. Bye, everybody.
What a place to wake up in. A haunted hotel with floor after floor of oddities. Many traps and mischievous ghosts lurk within. What will befall our missing Mario and friends, and his dear brother Luigi? Their fate rests in your hands. Luigi's Mansion 3.